me tell you what's going on. I hate and I love getting all these ideas. I thought of it, I'm thinking of it, I'm sitting here, I'm a little buzzed. I don't want to lose the intensity of explaining any one of my ideas. The existence of the question inside this idea is depending on what you think the answer's value is. Okay? We're going to go with something small and go back and forth with something else because I'm a little all over the place and I have to tie them up together. Tie them up together. Tie the oceans, the sand, and the beaches. But when they're not tied up, do you want to hear how it works? See these two fingers and these two fingers? I'm going to put them together. You see the hole? See what happens? Once these are tied up, they can close the hole. And then when they want, they just open it up. As long as they have the structure or the eye, then all of a sudden it becomes the Bermuda Triangle. Same design, 3 wires. You want to use as minimum amount of wires as possible. So you use this wire with this wire to this wire, holding in this circle. Is this the way to hold in this circle? This will pull it this way, that'll pull it that way, this will pull it this way. What will that circle look like at the end? Anyways, regardless. This, okay, comes up.
Okay, what I want to say right now is this would be the circle over here. Now what happens is every time you put a dot, every time you put a little ball, every ball has a tail. You put every single ball, each ball can turn just until it hits its own stick. You put them on top of each other, whichever way you want. You can make a stairway to heaven. But all in all, once you get 360 degrees around, how many tails did it take to create the ball-like images to go all the way around like a ruler, and a ruler like this, and then we bend the ruler this way to make the beautiful round, the natural rounds. But the only way to do it is by holding 2 ends, but this will always circulate. So let's go on. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going into the shower because I wanted to show you one more thing. I wanted to try and learn a little bit of Greek. I wanted to learn a little bit of this. You see the 7 and 2 inside of here? The 7 is this part that goes around, okay? The flat part here, okay, before you get into the apple. Don't forget, you see this is an apple. If I cut the edge off an apple, all you'll see is a round little part. But if I cut off the hockey puck, the center of the apple, the center of a round, if I cut off half this round, you'll see a flat inside. It'll look like a flat hockey puck. The round parts will be off. Okay, let's move on.
The circle. When you look at this circle, the round of this circle, how much actual is the angle of this circle for the length of the little stick that connects the next area of the circle? Okay, do you follow me? Connects the next area of the circle. So that stick will be the same on every other stick. Or is it like a fireplace? It goes around this way and then one straight out. But they're welded together. I talk with no welds. But you always have to weld. You have to weld it to the round. So you end up with this and a short stick. Now the angle of that stick is going to be curved out for the round. Well, how long would you have to go with the same kind of stick here before the edge of this will turn all the way around, and all this will turn all the way around, and this one to turn all the way around before they join? But what if there are no sticks? What if the only time they get a stick, all the sticks are straight? There's no bent sticks. The only way to see a bend is to take 2 circles. Let's make a circle. I'm going to show you how I make a circle. Here's one here. 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 Here, let's just use one of these big ones. Okay? They're all still round, but they're not around to go around. So now what do? I take a stick and I put it from here to here, the stick. And I take the stick and I put it from here to here, the stick. And I take a stick and I put it from here to here. Then I take this stick here and I put it right here. And I weld it. And I bend the stick and bend the stick and bend the stick until it gets this formation. So becoming round, there's different ways, because don't forget, the wind that blows into the rock that has sand that eats away will turn round in its own by its own sphere. But I did want to show you, look what happened. 4 coins created area 5 and the 4 star. The 4 star, plus it gets a heart. Not only that, but what happens is, this is 1 coin. This is 2 coins. This is 3 coins. This is 4 coins. And now you can move it away, and this is what we end up. So if we end up with this, the question is, does it end up doing this? Does it end up doing that? You know, and then you can just go, and you got, hey, 4 eyes. Yeah, but look what you got that's over here is this star. Okay? Design me a human. How come things are the way they are is because the circles. I can move this anywhere in the circle. If I put it here, it means nothing, right? But if I put it in the direction of 32, this is direction 32, 16, 12, and the other side is 11. So if you say 32, it goes here. If I put 3 of them, 3 circles in a straight line, okay, moving it 1 degree each time, how many 1 degree movements would it take before I've made my circle go all the way around? And is there a time period, because it's based on the movement of the universe, therefore recreating the Fibonacci look? I went to the bathroom today, and if you want to know how the results came, I'll tell you how the results came. I just want to show you that the ends are not brown. And what here is I was doing a complication, what I call the fishbone. And in this fishbone, what happens is it brings the light. It brings the light and it keeps everything alive. I don't know how everything works, but the bones keep the vibration from one end of the fish to the other end, even to the tail, how fish know. Another thing I wanted to mention about fish, you understand the bone? It brings the light. The bones that we don't eat in fish bring the light. And they also crunch those bones up and refeed it to dogs. So those were the bones that go to the gills of the fish. If the fish can swim in the water, so can man. And man does with equipment. But I'm quite sure in a real world we can probably hold our breath for 2 or 3 minutes, just like the whale can. So now the second thing I want to show you is the number 2. It's not really the number 2. It's more or less a line here, a line here, and a line here. See, it's 3 lines. That's all you can have is 3 lines. From here to here is 1. The one in between is 2. The one over here is 3. Any other line, okay, will be bringing you back to the beginning of the line you began with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, okay? Here is your number 5. Here is your number 2. It's almost like bending at the knees with your toes pointed into the ground. Shows you this 52. When you take this position on, or a horse or a cat takes this position on, it turns their front leg into the number 7. The expression of gateway. I don't want to say it's her gateway or your mouth is an open mouth gateway. Maybe this is part of the moon. Maybe switching 7 and 8 might be part of the moon in here, and then the moon down by your sex organs, number 7 and 8. I was thinking. Besides that, I lost my trend of thought. 6, 7, 8, 9. What was I thinking? Anyways, why can't we see under the water? We could, but then we'd be a little bit different because every animal is made for the area they live. So that's why we're humans and they're fish. The other thing I want to say, and this is the greatest discovery of the day, actually not that one, but I want to talk about this one here. You see this V? Okay? If I had to actually do this V in reality, you see the window over here? I have not finished. So in order for me to start, as in bingo, they tell you to take away the center and get a free space in the center. because it was the outside windows that creates the center. If you go back into any 5, 7, 9 situation, you can remove the center bar. Well, you can remove it in a 5 situation by just using one line. In a 7 situation, you'll be removing this line. I'll explain that to you another time. Okay? This cube actually is right here. You ever see the waffle plates? Well, it's the same thing, basically. What else did I want to show you? So 5 and 2 come on here, cut off at the knees. The 7 on the horse and the cat. Does that say running out of the gate? The horse's gate? Out of the gateway? Entering into the gate? Can our knees, the other part, look, one part to a second part. Isn't this a 2-bone? How many bones do we have? 2 here and 1 here? How does it work on the leg? Oh, all the compositions of creating and recreating a reality, a way of a situation that you're making inside someone's head. Whatever I talk about doesn't have to exist. But if I create a situation, that situation therefore must exist because I'm creating it. You're looking at it and studying if there's a possibility that it does exist. Or if it doesn't exist. The situation exists, but can you understand the representation of the connecting these words to numbers for reasons? I did want to say one thing, the belly button. Oh my God, the belly button. Listen to this. Bambi, belly, baby. Down by the bay. Down by the bay. The bay where the horses run. A bay mare saying brown. Bone, bay, beck, bone. Bone and an arrow. Bone and arrow. Broken arrow or oak. Ken or Ken. Barbie or Ken. Narrow. How is the arrow? It's narrow. Where am I going? Did you know that Caroline was an arc? Did you know that the word Caroline is, how can I say it, is a race car? Instead of saying arc, you say R-A-C. Okay, O-line, if you finish the O-line instead of saying O-lin, you can say O-lin, O-line. But if you're reading it, and you're reading it like I'm reading it and see it, I say O-line, you can say O-lin, but then we use them both because now there's 2 more situations. Oh, not too many situations? Not too many situations? Of course not. We won't have any situations at all. Take away this one, take away that one. Just stop in between. Study them one at a time. I'm having a hard enough time breaking them up. And you know what I like about these? They look like straw, thaw, berries. And you know what's so great about that? Is that in French, they call them fraise. F-R-A-I. 1 and 9, connecting the protein. Oh, I know, because in pool, 1 and 9 connect together in 2 worlds. That's protein. I want to know how protein connects to 1. That definite protein. Another thing I wanted to mention, okay, they said hombre, B-E-R, September, October, November. Bear, to bear a child. B is in the E family, R is in the A family, you say bear. Pan is to pan around. How about getting cooking? And let's cook with our pans. Pans around, cook with our pan. Pan ash is something, the antlers of a moose. So now we know the pan, the antlers of the moose, fry up onside the griddle while he's picking up the information in the air. You don't hear, I don't hear. But you want me to tell you what Rocky the Moose hears? Ladies and gentlemen, there are chemtrails coming in the area. And the minute the moose hears that, well, how does the moose know? Well, he heard the plane. He knew right away, and he heard the vibration. The CB codes. The moose picks them up. Oh, you don't pick it up when I don't pick it up. What, you think you got good hearing? From the age of the birth to 80 years old, they have to give you a hearing aid. When the moose can be 300 years old, the other one in the ocean with the boats and the ocean liners, what did you say on the other side of the boat? While whales are talking miles apart, and you tell me that the fish can see in the dark underwater caverns with no light and electricity, and man can't see past his nose, let alone think and understand what he's trying to actually do when he does something. He just does it because of the ratio factor, what everybody thinks and what he thinks. But the reality of the truth is, why get it done at all? Not because they need it, not because you need a job, but in order for the entity to exist, this job must be done. Another thing I wanted to show you, if you want to do ROTAS, Sator, ARPO, or if you want to do any of those other ones, Ryan G, I'm on that, the 111, what you have to do is you have to put the basic grid in. This basic grid, okay, is the cube. You have to renumber everything in the cube. I don't have to play the cube. I know where all the numbers go. It doesn't matter what you turn in the cube and put a new color. It's always going to be position number 22. Now, if you want to go for the cube law average, the cube law average turns this thing this way and then takes it and puts it on top of this again. And then it turns it this way, and then it takes and puts all three, and then it stops. Because everything is 3. 75. You can't go by 75. You go to 100, you end up with 100. You actually, you could go to 100 4 times. It's 3 and 4 times. Earth and Mars, the only planets without the letter U in it. If you like my ladder, there's going to be 260 spots, 20 by 13, in which 20 by 13, take away 1, 2, 3, because this is the first pound key. Take away 1, 2, 3, this is the second pound key. 1, 2, 3 is the third pound key. 1, 2, 3 is the fourth pound key. And then we finish it here. We finish it here because if we start here open, if we finish here, these lines would have to stick out here. So we go all the way down, we finish here, okay, with number 9. And then we go here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we finish here. We finish here because you need that one area of space. But instead of finishing, I don't finish. What I'll do is I won't even start. I'll just take it, remove the first 4 here, or the first 5 here, and then I'll remove the first 5 there, and then I'll end up with this one, and this one. Tic-tac-toe, tic-tac-toe, tic-tac-toe. I won't do this one all the way to here, tic-tac-toe, and I'll narrow it down and see what I get. I'll take the totality of the numbers and re-expand them. Is there anything else to say? These hexagons, there's a question in them, because if you really look, it's a Y. But if you really look, it's the cap of Jack. If you really look, it's the cap of Jack, and it creates the Y. But if you brought this together without this, because it's bringing it to a new level. But if you bring this to this, it becomes the X. But it's at 2 different levels that they're bringing it together, so it extends. But still inside the X, you can just make the X, because inside the roulette there is an X. And once you see that X, all of a sudden this line seems to shrink. So when I take away the X part, it looks like twice the line. The nav. 11, 14, 1, 22, and 5. Don't you know that the ace is 1 and 11? Don't you know that the ace in nav is K and A? Don't you know backwards it's the Ankh? The 11th card in blackjack is an ace. The 14th card in poker is an ace, and the first card in poker is a 1. V22 is a jack. 2, 5, 1, 4, 5. What is the E? 1 and 4 equals 5. Now, 2, 5, 1, 4, 5. 5, 1, 4. 5 and 2 is 7. 5 and 4 is 9. 7, 1, 9. 9, 1, 7. 7, 1, 1, 7 is what it would end up saying. I do the Paul Barker trick, and I take out the middle brick and I squeeze the other 2 together. So I showed you what we did with this, and I showed you what we do with this. So if I go into Seder Opera, right, and I come over here in Seder Opera, see, they've already switched it around in Seder Opera. They put Seder here, and then they put it down here. So I'll take S19, mix it up with 25, I'll get 44. A is the first letter, plus 29, I'll get 30. T is the 20th letter, I'll put 43 over here. The next one is number 22. It's an O. The O is 15 plus 22, and then the R. So I'll switch around the whole thing. Okay, and then I might do it in Pythagorean Chaldean gematria. Here I'm going to do this really quick. On your marks, get set, go. In Chaldean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D. Okay, E is 5. F, G, H is 8 for F, 3 for G, 5 for H. I, J is 1 and 1. K, L, M, N is all number 2, 3, 4, and 5. N, O is number 7. P is number 8. Q, 1, R, 2, S, 3, T, 4, U, V, W, 6, 6, 6, X, Y, Z, 5, 1, and 7. 5 for X, Y for 1, and Z for number 7, 1, 5. So we did that. Pythagorean, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I is 1 to 9. Okay, J is 10. K is 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Okay, K11 is 2. So you start at K2, K all the way to R, which is 9. The S becomes 1 again. So you're stopping at 1 and 8. So inside R is stopped at 1 and 8. Is that a possibility that Chaldean has to do with the creation of the letter R of the 3 worlds when you join the valet, which is the B letter, with the D letter? The only 2 numbers, which is 505 in Roman numerals. Now, what is the actual question, so we can look a little bit deeper into how we create a situation and make answers to that situation that will give us an evaluated definition in words that will tell us a story of some sort for a better understanding of the situation, of the totality of the numbers used in this situation and concept. Raphael 7286 in a constellation of Pegasus. Hi, Jen. Idaho. 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 I saw those mountains and lakes in your profile. Oh, my God. Idaho. You had better, if I ever come out there, you better get me a float. Because if I ever get too close to that lake, I usually just sink. You know what I'm saying? I rise to the equation, otherwise I sink. Anyways, thank you for watching Raphael 7286 in a constellation of Pegasus. I wanted to just show off a couple of pictures. I'm not sure where they are. Just give me a second. Now, you know what? At the end of this video, let's just do something that I like to do. That's the floor in front of me. That's the floor in front of me. Up towards the wall. Up towards the wall. It's a little blocked out from the sun, not a bright light, need good lights. So then we go up along the wall. I'm doing this for those who have never seen the inside of my apartment. Somehow it came with stickers all over the wall. Stickers all over the wall. See that little grange, eh? You ever hear that Jesus was born in the manger? He was born in the manger. Well, a manger in French means in the kitchen where you eat. So this is basically like a carpet, eh? It's almost like a carpet. And there's the kitchen. There's a little TV. And then it starts to get weird, you know. There's Jacob's corner. Jake, you know what's funny? Nobody else has got a corner in that like Jacob. Only Jacob gets the house of Jacob, gets Jacob's corner, the compassion of Jacob,